Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, then please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. I'm going to shout out everybody who's in the building early, all right? Shout out to Miss Nisi. We got Carla Lockard in the building. Shout out to Lloyd Sky 9. We got Patricia Slade in the house. We got DSA 1. Shout out to my man Ali 81 Scunnit. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Jerry Bedford. We got my man Torian Rain in the house. We got that's it. All right, so shout out to everybody, man. It's good to see each and every single one of you all. All right, if you guys haven't, smash that like button. All right, also if you guys haven't, hit the bell. Also, if you guys haven't, when the bot puts the link for the Twitter in the chat, make sure that you subscribe to the Twitter as well. All right, the first thing that we're gonna look at is we're going to look at some new developments in what's going on with Fannie Willis. All right. How many people have heard about the new developments with Fannie Willis? If you guys have heard, let me know what y'all heard. If y'all haven't, give me a thumbs down and we're going to get it. Shout out to PD that remains. What's good with it, bro?
Breaking news at this hour, the state Senate will now conduct their own investigation into allegations that Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis had an improper relationship with one of her top prosecutors.
So now the state has decided that they are actually going to do an investigation on her. Now, what the results of this investigation will be, as far as if there's any disciplinary action or anything like that, I don't know what they plan on doing. I don't know how they plan on going about that. I don't know what the plan is there, or what even the expected plan is there. But they are indeed investigating her, which means that, yeah, I was shout out to Torian. Facts. If you guys agree with Torian, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Fannie about to be thrown out on her Fannie. Yeah. More than likely. More than likely.
Planet News First political reporter Doug Reardon live at the courthouse for us downtown. Doug, lay out today's developments.
Right, Tracy. Well, this was approved this morning. It will be made up of 9 state senators who are Republicans and 3 who are Democrats. They're going to have subpoena power, which is really kind of the rub here, because that will allow them to demand documents and also testimony from people like Fannie Willis and the man she is alleged to have been in an improper relationship with, her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. So as we mentioned, that was approved by senators this morning. It was proposed just last week. So that
now, here goes my question. How many people think that she was actually in an improper relationship? If you guys think that she was in an improper relationship, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that she was, then give me a thumbs down. Let me know what y'all think.
Process went relatively rapidly. What they won't have the power to do, though, is remove her from office. Instead, what will happen here is they will issue a report detailing their findings on that alleged relationship and any financial mismanagement of taxpayer dollars. It could lead to law changes and even a severe defunding of state dollars to Willis's office. We have a budget coming up soon. Keep that in mind. We also learned today that a Fulton County ethics panel will be conducting their own investigation into these accusations.
Man, she's going to have a lot of people prying into her personal life. She's going to have a lot of people prying into her personal life. And I'm going to tell you guys something. That type of situation where you have a bunch of outside people prying into your personal life, that is not a situation that anybody wants to be in. That's not a situation that anybody wants to be in. And more than likely, this will probably be televised, if they got to do some type of Senate hearing, or if they got to do something where she's called before, like a group of people. So if I'm able to match up the times, if they're live streaming her investigation when she has to come and be a witness, if you guys are interested in watching that, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down.
And Republican State Senator Charlize Byrd introduced articles of impeachment against Willis also today, which Georgia State law professor Clark Cunningham says could be a real problem.
So how many people know about the articles of impeachment that were introduced in regards to her? Yeah, they just put out articles of impeachment on her. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, I'm sure Whack 100 got the Fannie Willis tape. Yo. Shout out to my man Black Star Racer. What's good with it, bro? B1.
law professor Clark Cunningham says could be a real problems for Willis with Republicans having the numbers there.
The Georgia Constitution just says the House has the power of impeachment. So there's no definition. I would be surprised if the House doesn't pass articles of impeachment against her.
And Clark told us today there is one way for Willis to hold on to this case and make sure it stays in her office. He wrote an op-ed in the New York Times about it. We're going to pick his brain on that coming up at 4:30. For now, we're outside the Fulton County Courthouse. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
All right, so there's that. All right, so now we're going to take a look at another news report. Probably going to say about the same things, but we're just going to take a look anyway to see if we can get any extra little bits of information out of it. Impeachment motions filed. Man, what? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to put it like this. The investigation should shed more light on this situation than what we currently know. Now, I'm going to just leave it at that.
Of an improper relationship between Fulton County DA Fani Willis and one of her prosecutors now has the attention of the Georgia State Senate. Today, lawmakers there approved a committee to investigate these claims. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon joins us live from the Fulton County Courthouse with the efforts from Georgia and D.C. to remove Willis from this case. Doug.
Right, Blair. This is getting very real for the district attorney now. That commission that was approved this morning by senators up the road under the Gold Dome.
So now they're trying to get her off the case, and you know they're probably gonna try to get her off the case because the majority of the people who are going to be overseeing this hearing are Republicans, and they will be able to they're going to be, of course, on the side of Donald Trump because for one he's white and for two because he's a Republican. You know what I'm saying? So this is about to get interesting.
Will have subpoena power, meaning they can demand documents and even testimony. On top of that, also today, one of our state representatives proposed articles of impeachment against the district attorney, and even one of our federal U.S. congresswomen also authored a formal complaint.
I didn't know about that.
Things picked up steam Friday for District Attorney Fani Willis.
How many people knew about the U.S. congresswoman that filed a complaint? A U.S. congresswoman filed a complaint in this situation as well. Will we? Very interesting. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We got 31 people watching and we got 28 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 40, that'd be great.
Things picked up steam Friday for District Attorney Fani Willis, now almost a month after the filing of allegations that she was dating the man she hired as a special prosecutor in the historic election indictment.
On the adoption resolution as amended.
Hey, check this out, man. How many of you guys have noticed that when it comes to all of the characters of the M.A.G.A.TRON saga, almost all of them are messy like Trump? You guys notice that? When it comes to the M.A.G.A.TRON saga, damn near everybody involved is shady.
The yeas are 30 and the nays are 19.
The state Senate approved their own committee to investigate possible conflicts of interest and how taxpayer dollars were used to pay that man, Nathan Wade.
To date, folks, $654,000 of taxpayer money has been spent on this. As details continue to surface on a daily basis, it becomes more and more clear this was prosecution for personal profit.
The allegations claim Willis, whose office paid Wade large sums for his work, also traveled with him several times on cruises and vacations to Florida and California.
Now, we got to ask, what's going on with this? What is going on with all these trips that they took together? What's going on with all these trips that they took together? They spent a lot of time together. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Is what we're saying that all of the time that they spent together was all business related? All they spent together was innocent business related time. They were simply working on cases and, bouncing work and possibly other things off each other. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Don't hold back. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you guys think. Was there any shade here, or are we jumping the gun? Or should we be taking this quite literally? Vlad said that there was some frequent flyer miles used to take a couple trips to Pound Town. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
California. On Friday, Atlanta News first obtained a copy of a formal complaint filed by U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Of course.
Friday, State GOP Rep Charlize Byrd.
Of course. Of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene's trolling ass would file a complaint. Oh, man. Is anybody surprised? Of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene would file a complaint. Man, that's not even not predictable. Shout out to Kiko. Kiko410 said, I'm sure they were, quote unquote, doing work. Were they doing work or were they putting in work? Yeah, Black Star bouncing work off each other. You know how that shit go. Like Drake said, you know how that shit go? You know what I'm saying? You know how that shit go.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Also on Friday, State GOP Rep Charlize Byrd also introduced articles of impeachment against Willis in the state House that has the numbers to make that a reality.
I would be surprised if the House doesn't pass articles of impeachment against her.
Georgia State law and ethics professor Clark Cunningham says Georgia's bar for impeachment is relatively low. He authored an op-ed in the New York Times this week, arguing that the only way for Willis to avoid losing the case would be to take a leave of absence.
If the disqualification happens.
Now, do you guys agree with that? That the only way for her to the only way for her to not lose the case is to take a leave of absence? Do you guys agree with that? That's interesting. That's interesting.
A new prosecutor is appointed. If she's removed by impeachment, the governor appoints a new prosecutor. So the only way she can guarantee that her office stays in control of this case is by taking a leave.
And Clark says if she wanted to, she certainly has the leverage to do it, given the multitude of swatting attempts and threats that she has been the victim of since this all started. Now, she will be here in Fulton County Court on February 15th, where a judge will decide just exactly what to do about these allegations and as far as keeping her on the case. In Fulton.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. What do you all think is going to happen with all of this as far as this Fani Willis thing? What do you guys think is going to happen? Because I'm not sure. I think that she might end up getting taken off the case. Maybe they won't take her off. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Who knows, right? But I think that she might get taken off. Now, again, you know, maybe it's us that are looking at this wrong. Maybe it's us that are looking at this wrong. Maybe they were actually on work trips and all of this, right? The whole innocent thing, you know what I'm saying? Nothing was done, and we're not seeing things the way that we should be seeing them, right? Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it's us who's jumping the gun, right? Now, here's the question. What happens if it's proven that we're jumping the gun? What if she comes out of this clean? What happens then? Let's check this out real quick.
President Trump took the stand in his own defense in a defamation trial brought by advice columnist E. Jean Carroll. Trump's testimony was brief but fiery. He only took the stand for 2 minutes and said just as much off the stand in the courtroom as he did to the jury. If you blinked, you might have missed it. As Carroll seeks at least $10 million in defamation damages over Trump's denials that he sexually assaulted the columnist, the former president...
What do you guys think about that? So he has to pay all of this money because he's denying that he essayed this columnist. So he's saying that he didn't do it. And him saying that he didn't do it is what set him up to be able to be vulnerable to this lawsuit. What do you guys think about that? I want y'all to let that kind of marinate. What do y'all think about that?
The president had long vowed to take the stand to defend himself. But when his time came to testify, Trump's attorney Alina Habba only asked her client a few questions. The narrow scope came after the judge severely limited what topics Trump was permitted to testify about, given that he was already found to have defamed Carroll in the case. The trial is only being held to determine how much the former president must pay. That meant Trump was barred from telling the jury many of the claims that he has recently espoused in public, including that he never met Carol and that she made up the accusations to sell her book. Ready to take the stand, Trump returned from lunch to the courtroom with
Now here goes my question. What is the base of all of this? Is there any history between him and this woman? Any proven history? Does anybody know? Like what's up with this? I would like to actually know the backstory here, but I don't know the backstory. Is there any, like, did they ever interact? Is there any text messages between them two? Is there any kind of history? What do you think?
with much higher energy than he showed in the morning, when he was yawning at times and made few audible comments. Then that quickly changed, with the mics picking up Trump expressing frustration before he began his testimony. Quote, "I never met the woman," Trump could be heard telling his lawyer. And once on the stand, the judge only allowed Trump to answer in a few words before cutting him off after each question. Trump told the jury he stood by his deposition, in which he again denied Carol's story, also saying that he never instructed anyone to hurt the columnist. And within less than 5 minutes, it was all over, and Trump was excused. As he slowly walked out of the courthouse, he looked to the reporters assembled in the room and said, quote, "This is not America. Not America. This is not America." Trump was the second and final witness to testify in his defense, and now closing arguments are just one day away. Afterwards, the jury will be handed the case and will decide whether to grant E. Jean Carroll's request for more than $10 million in damages.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many people know what the results of this were? If you guys know what the results of this were, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, then give me a thumbs down. We're going to look at a couple videos and we're going to discuss the results of this because, again, this is interesting, bizarre to say the least. I never quite seen anything like this or heard of anything like this. I don't really know what to say about it because this is unfamiliar territory for me. And real quick, shout out to everybody. The like button is very familiar territory for everybody. We got 34 people watching and we got 29 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 50, that'd be great. Yep. Hold on real quick. All right, my bad. So let me, here we go. We're going to pull that up. All right, there we go. Now, what I find interesting about this is that this Carol individual, they just keep giving her money. And what's crazy is that she's getting more money for Donald Trump saying mean things about her than any of the families that get settlements from wrongful police killings get for actually losing their entire life. So my question to you guys is, after thinking about that statement, what does that tell you? What do you guys think about that?
Continuing our coverage of the breaking news out of a New York City courtroom. A jury has awarded over $83 million in damages to writer E. Jean Carroll, who sued the former president for defaming her. Carroll departed the courtroom just minutes ago. This was the second trial brought by Carroll against Donald Trump. She already won $5 million in May in a case where the jury found that the ex-president liable for sexually abusing her.
I mean, like, I ain't trying to be funny, but like, man, homegirl just keeps hitting the jackpot. She's running up a bag. This right here, now she could. This is what running up a bag actually looks like. Would you guys agree? Anybody that's confused about what running up a bag looks like, this right here, this is what running up a bag looks like. She's running up the bag, and she's running up the bag on the same ATM machine. You know what I'm saying? She's running the bag up on the same ATM machine.
Today, just like in the trial last year, the jury only took about 3 hours to reach their verdict. The jury's decision came following a contentious day in the courtroom. Trump stormed out at one point, but returned for his attorney's closing arguments. We are back with NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. Vaughn, I am told that you have...
So shout out to Patricia. Patricia says this woman is crazy. She was on Anderson trying to throw her panties at an openly G man. He was so nervous he went to a commercial. Wow, that's wild. Yo, if anybody can, if anybody's got the video clip of that or a link to the video clip of that, shoot it to me either on Discord or shoot it to me somewhere, and I'll try to be on the lookout, try to see if I can, catch it, or tag me in it on Twitter or something like that, and we'll take a look at it on the next MAG-A-TRON stream. She modern, Carlton. Carlton said, wow, she modern. That's what Carlton like, that modern stuff. You know what I'm saying? She's an OG modern woman, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's an old Gigi. She an old grandma, an old girl, an old golden girl modern woman.
Have a reaction from the former president.
Alicia, Trump just posted on his social media account as he boards a plane. He's going to be campaigning in Las Vegas, Nevada tomorrow, just in the last few minutes posting, quote, absolutely ridiculous. I fully disagree with both verdicts and will be appealing this whole Biden-directed witch hunt focused on me and the Republican Party. Of course, there is no evidence that Joe Biden or the Democratic Party has anything to do with the lawsuit brought against Donald Trump. But what a jury here found today is more than 80.
Hey, I should start a channel called M.A.G.A.TRON. What do you think about that? If you guys think that we should start a channel called M.A.G.A.TRON, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, then give me a thumbs down. That one's probably gonna get a lot of thumbs down. I just got to feel it.
$80 million in damages that are awarded to E. Jean Carroll by Donald Trump. And I think if we could just take a step back here, 8 years ago when I was covering the Trump campaign and the Republican primary and then the general election, there were conversations around the more than a dozen allegations of sexual abuse and harassment against Donald Trump. They were allegations and accusations at the time that we saw Republicans who ultimately allied with Donald Trump repeatedly refute and come to Donald Trump's defense because they were, in their words, merely allegations. The jury in none of these instances had been convened and found Donald Trump.
Wait, hold on, Carla. Wait a minute. What?
This go around, though.
What? Carla said that's like that G guy trying to kiss Genuine. When did that happen? I don't even want to know. That could have went all the way back. What's up with Genuine? Listen, man, look, I don't even want to know. I ain't about to ask.
Oh, his time is different. In what we now have in the likely Republican nominee in 2024 is somebody who has been found to have sexually abused a woman, but also after defaming her repeatedly is now having to pay up more than $80 million to her. I think that this is a moment when the Republican Party is already saying, if we can make this political promo.
Lois Kanai said that was a while ago. There's probably a reason I didn't hear about it. I'm gonna just put it like that. There's probably a reason that I didn't hear about it. You know what I'm saying?
A drop-off in support, particularly around women around the country here. And for Donald Trump here, he has continued up into hours just before this jury made this decision here this evening, continue to make the very statements that led to the defamation case against him in the first place. Even posting overnight a video.
Look at this. Shout out to my man Crew Reality. Is that T individual crazy? Crew Reality says B1. Yeah, on some reality show, T said he was phobic because he only kisses women. No, that's called being straight. When the world wasn't upside down, it was called being normal. Shout out to Torian. Torian says, MAG-A.TRON, she talking about that Hall T member that tried to push up on Genuine on that reality show years ago. They tried to call him T-phobic because he didn't allow them to do so. Good for Genuine, man. Good for Genuine. He should have fought them. He should have actually fought them like they were what they were. That's what he should have done. You know what I'm saying? So now, let me ask this question. If a woman doesn't allow a man to have sex with her, does that make a woman male phobic? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? So is it safe for us to say that any woman that denies a man sex is male phobic? Shout out to Calvin C for subscribing. Also, shout out to Vlad. I forgot to shout y'all out. Seriously, let's explore that a little bit.
story was fabricated, that he had never met her. Of course, Donald Trump also a year ago chose to not testify in his own defense. He didn't show up to the court when the first jury was hearing the testimony of E. Carroll. And instead, he has tried to cast this aside. Alicia is nothing more than another extension of a witch hunt. But this was decided by a jury now twice. And for Donald Trump, this is different. And frankly, not sure how the Republican Party or the elected officials who have endorsed him as recently as just in the last week will be able to defend Donald Trump.
Right, exactly. Exactly. What happened to my body, my choice? Don't get me started. See, like, you can't even say the stuff that you need to say that those people need to hear on a social media platform safe. They crazy as all hell, Shamika. Crazy. I'll tell you that much. Crazy. They know the right people to do that mess with and the wrong people to do that mess with. Man, let me not.
But there's little reason to believe that they will not continue to stand by him, despite what we now know here from a jury.
I'm thinking, to your point about them carrying his water, about Elise Stefanik as recently as the New Hampshire primary, defending Donald Trump for what happened with E. Carroll. I want to bring into our coverage former Deputy Assistant Attorney General and former U.S. Attorney Harry Littman. Harry, $83.3 million. What does that number say to you?
It's an emphatic victory, Alicia, but it's not a stratospheric one. We were talking about even bigger numbers, and I think that is better for E. Carroll. Andrew mentioned the sort of analysis that a court of appeals will reach, and that's the sort of thing when you have such a winning case as the Kaplan try on, Robbie Kaplan that is, and being careful to only stress certain factors. And that I think the jury was overall somewhat prudent, but it's on the other hand.
Shout out, man. Listen, I got some content on that channel, bro, that I haven't had a chance to get to. That when we are able to get to it, y'all gonna be like, man, what the hell?
To the point of accountability, I think here, besides that, it really does, I think, hurt, and his liquidity, can he even post that bond? But I'd like to say that the MVP here next to Carroll herself, I think, is Judge Kaplan. He showed that Trump can, in fact, be constrained, can be kept from his antics. And what accountability ultimately means for Trump is not being able to proclaim victory. And you notice, even in that nasty gram that he sent from the plane, he talked about Biden, he talked about others, he didn't mention E. Carroll. My best bet is he's done with that, and that will be a sign that he has lost, been held accountable, and in the most important way, his tail is between his legs where it deserves to be. So in that sense, it's a very significant jury verdict and a very
Now here goes my question. What is the proof that Trump did anything to this woman? Has there been like definitive proof? Because like I would assume that if there was like hardcore definitive proof, they'd be blasting that all over the place, and like that would probably have a huge impact on his ability, and not necessarily on his electability, but on the kind of rhetoric that we're seeing about him. But what's interesting about it is that there's not really a lot of reference from this particular situation going on. Now, I have to be honest, I haven't followed this entire situation from the start, which is why I keep asking, what's the question? What's the proof? You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Vlad. Vlad says the proof, quote unquote, is that a PC woman made an allegation. Yeah, that's only valid to those people. You know what I'm saying? I don't give PC women leniency because they're PC. Matter of fact, I actually kind of look at them a little bit more harsh because they have that societal privilege to where they can just basically say anything, and society has been trained to act like they have some type of inherent superpower. You know what I'm saying? And I think that more people need to start like going in on that aspect. You know what I'm saying? These women are not perfect. You know what I'm saying? These women weaponize their privilege that they act like doesn't exist. These women have a literal history of causing race riots and wars. At some point, all of this stuff needs to be held to the table, placed to the fire. And when engaged in a situation even the Jonathan Major situation, that needs to be taken into consideration. Now, remember, right, in the Jonathan Majors situation, Alvin Bragg was the one that was perpetuating being a simp. You know what I mean? Alvin Bragg was the one that was being a simp. So I think people need to start having public discourse about this kind of stuff and start espousing more non-debunkable talking points around situations like this, because these people lie about shit all the time. Look at Amber Turd. You know what I'm saying? Look at Kim Potter. Amber Geiger. Amber Geiger's trifling, gremlin, treasure troll face ass. You know what I'm saying? The integrity needs to be under constant attack. The integrity needs to be under constant attack. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they get that extension benefit from the power structure, that needs to be under constant attack. That, to me, should never be a constant or a given. That always needs to be under attack. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just saying, you know.
Important performance by Judge Kaplan for other judges to emulate.
Shout out to Kevin. What's good with it, bro? All right, so there's that. All right. So let's take a look at this next video. All right, because apparently M.A.G.A.TRON went crazy. Apparently he went full Galvatron. They said that he was stomping around and flipping out and doing all kind of wild, crazy stuff. And shout out to Carla and Miss Nisi for being bot enforcers. I appreciate you guys. All right, so let's see what they're talking about right here.
Donald Trump abruptly walked out of his defamation trial today.
Yeah, he left in the middle of closing arguments in the defamation case between the former president and writer E.G. Carroll. She is seeking at least $24 million in damages after the judge found him liable for defaming her. Ashley Rodriguez is live at the federal courthouse with the very latest. Ashley, what happened here?
Shout out to Mr. King. What's good with it, bro?
A very tense start in court this morning. Carroll's team is up there. They're starting to give their closing arguments, and Trump just abruptly gets up and walks out. Now, he is back inside at this moment. He came back in once his team started giving their closing arguments, but you can tell that Judge Kaplan is definitely more and more frustrated by what he's seeing in Trump's behavior and antics in court. This comes after Trump blurted out yesterday, right in the middle of the proceedings, that he didn't even know that woman. The judge making sure that all of this is reflected in the record. Now, the fact that Trump keeps saying he didn't even know who Carroll is, that's the phrase that Carroll's team is focusing on. They argue his words, calling her a whack job and a liar, have caused her to lose opportunities and led to online bullying. But his team is arguing that she can't prove causation, that his words led to people tweeting mean things at her. They say, just like she went on TV to defend herself, he went on TV to defend himself, and that he wanted to get out the word, his idea that he did not sexually assault her in a department store dressing room. Now, Trump took the stand yesterday, and while he wanted to continue to claim innocence, the judge would not allow it into the record. Instead, he said that he never intended to hurt Carroll. He just wanted to defend himself, his family, and the presidency. He actually just posted a new video on social media. Take a listen.
I have no idea who she is, where she came from. This is another scam. It's a political witch hunt. And somehow we're going to have to fight this stuff. We cannot let our country go into this abyss. This is disgraceful.
So in the deposition for this case, Trump boasted about how he's worth billions and billions of dollars, his brand alone worth $10 billion. Well, Carroll's team was sure to bring that.
Right. Exactly, Vlad. Shout out to Vlad. Vlad said, what opportunities has she missed? What opportunities did she even have? Here's my question. How many people had heard of that woman before this situation with Trump? If you guys heard about her before the situation with Trump, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't hear about her before this situation with Trump, then give me a thumbs down. I never heard of her. You know what I'm saying? I never heard of this lady. But just because I never heard of her don't mean anybody else didn't hear of her. I didn't even hear that some T person was trying to holler at Genuine, which is just completely mind-blowing, and I'm still in shock over. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to y'all, man. We got 40 people watching. That's what's up. Got to make that a habit and get 40 people up in here. That's what's good. If y'all could take a moment, smash that like button and get us to 60 likes, that would be awesome.
That up, and that is why they are upping the damages that they're now asking for. They believe that at least $24 million is what the jury should award her, just to repair her reputation and all the emotional.
How much was her reputation worth before any of this? How is this lady that nobody knows about? How is she worth so much money? Seriously, don't nobody know who this lady is. Don't nobody know what this lady is up to. Don't nobody know what this lady was doing. Don't nobody know anything about this lady pre-Trump. How is she worth so much money? They just keep giving her, like, my thing is, damn, like, they just created a multimillionaire. Like, this is an actual creation of a multimillionaire. And then they sit up here saying all this potential. What kind of potential she got to keep hitting more jackpots in court? Like, man, that's crazy.
Distress that was caused by his words. They said that he is a very powerful man, a very wealthy man, and the only way he will stop using his power and wealth and platform to bully people is if the jury sends a message and punishes him. We're going to go back inside and see what they decide, but at this point in time, his team now wrapping up their closing arguments, and we are expecting a decision hopefully by this afternoon. We'll have to wait and see. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
I mean, after that video post, it feels like this is just going to happen all over again.
Sure, certainly could.
What do you guys think? Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that Trump's hold on real quick. Do you guys think that if Trump gets elected, he's going to do something and try to get back at some of these attorneys who were involved in some of these cases that are hindering his progress? You guys think he's going to try anything, or, try to have any type of vengeance or anything? If you guys think that he is, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that he is, then give me a thumbs down. Me personally, I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, though. If it was me and I had to deal with this nonsense, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be big mad. You know what I'm saying? And it probably would be the best for the person who is making these accusations to just not be around me nowhere. Like, go ahead and go on somewhere. Go away from me. You know what I mean? Hold on real quick. We're going to take a look at this real quick, because we got this video with Jean Carroll's attorney. Shout out to Rolls Royce. What's good with it? We're going to look at this video with Jean Carroll's attorney, because this, to me, like, man, I'm just wow. Now, shout out to who was that said something about that? I think it was Carla. Yeah, Carla. Was that Carla that said something about Anderson Cooper or something? No, that was Patricia that said something about Anderson Cooper, I think. And so now they got the attorney here having a meeting with Anderson Cooper discussing the $83.3 million verdict. Okay, so let's check this out.
We are very happy with the punitive damages award.
I bet you are.
Why do you think they were so high? Because of his behavior?
Yeah, because under the law of punitive damages, a jury is allowed to and actually should consider what it will take, what monetary amount it will take to get the person to stop.
That's so the idea with the jury was it's going to take a big number to get this guy to stop.
Exactly. That all he really understands is money. And so you should award an amount of money that will make him stop. Whether that will succeed, I don't know. I sure hope it will.
If he continues to defame her, will there be more? I mean, is it potential there's another case?
I'm too good of a lawyer to tell you that, but everything's on the table.
So he should be on notice about what he says from now on about
He
this.
should be on notice. And he should be on notice that if he keeps saying it, it could cost him a lot more money.
What is the likelihood this ruling will stand, or that the damages will stand?
Very, very.
Let me ask you guys a question. When it comes to these type of cases, or when it comes to, like, these accusations, has it ever been proven after a woman has made these kind of accusations and won one of these kind of mega judgments? Has it ever been proven that one of these women has lied? Has that ever been shown? I'm curious. Have you guys ever come across that? Let me know.
Very high. We had one of the most well-respected judges in New York City, Judge Kaplan, no relation. The jury was great. And the law and all the tough legal issues in the case have already been dealt with. The issue about what he said when he was president has been dealt with under the Westfall Act. The issue about him waiving presidential immunity has been dealt with already by the Second Circuit. So there's not really much left for them to appeal.
The steps, though, are what? There's a Second Circuit, or
they'll go to the Second Circuit, which we've already won in this case, I guess, 3 times now. But they'll go again to the Second Circuit. But there's really not much left for them to argue.
What would be the grounds for him to appeal? I mean, things.
Shout out to Torian. Torian said the case with Brian Banks is one of them, but he was a black man. His railroading was already done by the time the lie came out. That's crazy. So what ended up happening with him? Did he end up getting any kind of damage? Was he able to sue for the effects that it took on his career? What ended up happening? And shout out to you for letting us know about that. How many people heard about this Brian Banks situation that Torian is talking about? If you guys heard about it, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear about it, give me a thumbs down.
Are there particular things that happened in the court or that filings that occurred?
I think you're going to hear kind of what people were hearing. I'm told what he and his lawyer, Lena Haba, said today, that the judge was unfair, that he should have had a do-over. He should have been able to retry the assault and the defamation again, that it was biased. He wasn't allowed to speak, yada, yada, yada. None of that's true. He had the fairest trial he possibly could have had with one of the most experienced judges in this country, and none of that's going to be even remotely persuasive to the appellate judges.
If the Second Circuit then declines.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I know who it was. No, he was on Fox. Didn't Fox interview him? He got accused of messing around with some white chick or something like that. Or not messing around with the white chick, but the white chick tried to say he SA'd him or something like that. I think I seen an interview on Fox with him, if that's the same person, or that could be another one because that stuff be happening so much. I'm definitely gonna look at it. I'm gonna research it. It might be worth. Oh, it's a black girl. I might look at it. We might have to do a little throwback stream on that. She was using that. She was using that Me Too. That Me Too discriminates. That Me Too discriminates, but it's available for use. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit crazy. That shit's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That shit wow, man. You know what I'm saying? That Me Too discriminates, but it's interesting though. Anybody can use it though, but it discriminates though. But it does discriminate because only certain people can use it in certain ways, but it's always available to be used to harm black men. Some people can only use it to certain degrees, but they can still use it though. But the common factor is that it can always be used to harm black men. We should actually we should actually talk about that. I'm about to see if I can find like some articles or something, put something together and do a little stream about it, some throwback type stream. Yo, what y'all think? Would y'all be interested in that? Doing a throwback stream on that? If y'all would be interested in doing a throwback stream on that, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down.
It or rules against him, can he take it higher?
He can't take the defamation claims probably higher. He may be able to bring up some of the issues about presidential immunity, but that's already been litigated as well. So very unlikely. The
I
Supreme
mean,
Court would
there
take
are
it.
been plenty of cases where a jury awards a huge verdict and it gets knocked down later on. Do you anticipate E.G. Carroll actually seeing this money?
Completely she'll see this money. So the kinds of ratios that the courts get concerned about are ratios over 6-1. Here we're well within that range.
6-1 based on the person's income or
Based
something?
on the compensatory damages.
Okay.
So here compensatory damages are 18 million. So 65 punitives with 18 million compensatory is not that big of a ratio. And I can't imagine any court having any problem with it.
Is it possible? I mean, you also hear, there's been plenty of defendants who have a big judgment against them and somehow finagle away, declare bankruptcy, or figure out a way not to pay. Do you think he's going to pay?
I think he's going to have to pay. And whether it requires him to sell.
All right, so now, yeah, this is interesting. We're going to keep track of this for sure. How many people think that Trump is going to pay? You guys think Trump is actually going to pay? If you guys think that Trump is going to pay, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that Trump is going to pay, give me a thumbs down. I know, I think I saw in the comment section, a lot of you guys said you don't think that Trump is going to pay. I think that he'll try to stall it as much as he can. I think he's definitely going to try to stall it. He's definitely not going to be trying to pay. You know what I'm saying?
Sell something or to.
And real quick, while we got everybody in here, shout out to all the people that's in here, man. This is the biggest stream that we've had on M.A.G.A.TRON. So shout out. You know what I'm saying? We only gonna get bigger. You know what I'm saying? What I wanted to do was tell everybody the next time that bot comes in the chat, if you have not subscribed to the M.A.G.A.TRON Twitter account, please take a moment and hit that link that the bot puts in with the Twitter account and subscribe to that as well. That's extremely important.
Lean on something to get a loan, that's his problem, not ours. He's going to pay, and Judge Kaplan, through judgment enforcement mechanisms, will make sure that he pays. And indeed, even to take the appeal, he's going to have to at least put up a bond of 20% of the amount.
You're obviously very experienced. What was this whole experience in the courtroom like?
I've been to.
Let me ask you guys this question, and this might be a controversial question, but I think it's a question that's worth asking. And the reason why I think it's worth asking is because it's something that it seems like we're starting to see more and more of. And my question for you guys is, do you all believe that the quote unquote Me Too business, there's an actual entire business arranged around Me Too, as far as, the legal system, as far as the lawyers charging people, as far as the prosecutors, as far as the accusations, as far as target percentages for settlements? Do you all think that there is some type of Me Too framework model that people are operating off of as a money grab? If you guys think that there is, give me a thumbs up. If you guys think that there isn't, give me a thumbs down. Now, if you think that there is, my question for you guys is, how can people break that up? If you guys think that there is not, let me know why you think that there is not.
In a lot of courtrooms in my time, especially in New York City, and I've seen a lot of judges, I have never seen a party be so openly contemptuous of the authority of the court.
Yeah, facts. I agree, John. Yeah, there is absolutely a divorce model. Now, they even have like divorce parties where they giving out divorce cakes and Hallmark cards and everything. It's a whole business. It's a whole celebration. They got it to where, people would celebrate their relationships and people enjoyed being married and, they happily married and all of this good stuff. Now they got it to where people are celebrating their divorce as if you get married and your marriage is on a timer, which is interesting because like back in the day when, the institution of marriage and all that, when back in the day when, marriage was between a man and a woman, because, it's kind of, I guess, expanded in its scope per se. You know what I'm saying? The intention of it used to be until both members of the union passed away. Till death do us part. But it's not like that anymore. Now it's until, whatever, divorce celebration, I guess. Until, the modern awakening occurs. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Black Women Stand Up, B1. What's good with it?
And the authority of our justice system and the legitimacy of our justice system is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I think
Marriage has quote unquote expanded in its scope. You know, they offer new products. You know what I'm saying? You know what they say? We're expanding our horizons. We're being open to new opportunities, open to new markets. Marriage made a business move. You know what I'm saying? Marriage made a business move to where, you know, I guess it can offer its products to a quote unquote different target market or a different target demographic, I guess would be somewhat politically correct.
I think the best thing of today, other than the vindication that E. Jean Carroll so deserved, is that today was a good day for our system of justice. Today was a day that showed that the rule of law applies to everyone. Even if you don't think the rule of law applies to you, it applies to you and applied today to Donald Trump.
I'm always interested when I see depositions of the former president.
So according to this attorney, today was a good day for the rule of law because things worked out for her and her client. I think the fact that her client is still alive and her client got more money than anybody that's ever been wrongfully deleted by the police literally is even more evidence that there is no rule of law and that this entire system is nonsense and a sham. So it's interesting how different people, you know, it's interesting how different people interpret things. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting how you can take very different interpretations of the same situation and you know, they don't always seem the same.
Because for somebody who has been sued as much as he has and been involved in lawsuits, and I assume deposed often, he seems like a terrible witness in depositions. I haven't seen him on stand, but I imagine on the stand as well. How do you rate him as a defendant, given his experience in the justice system?
Well, so to be a good party in a case and to be a good witness in a case, you want the jury to believe you and to think that you tell the truth. And the very big problem that Donald Trump has is really no one believes he tells the truth. And in this case, he lied again on the stand. He again said, I stand by everything I said in my my deposition, which was I did nothing to E. Jean Carroll, never met her, she's a whack job, never heard of her. So he not only committed perjury.
So does he know her or not? Have they ever met each other? Like, do they know each other or not? Like, is there any proof that they knew each other or that they had any kind of interaction or what? I don't know.
But the jury themselves saw him commit perjury. And then they watched his deposition video where he pointed out, as everyone knows, that famous photo of him and Ivana and E. Jean and her then husband. And he points to E. Jean and says, that's Marla Maple.
Oh, well, I guess that takes care of that. You know what I'm saying? I guess that takes care of that. All right. So real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick look at this because apparently the lawyer, Trump's lawyer that he had, got threatened with jail time. All right. We're going to take a quick look at that. And then tomorrow, if we get a chance, hold on real quick. Let me see. Yeah, okay. Tomorrow, if we get a chance, we're going to take a look at this interview between, I think it's, let me see. Who is this? Between ABC and Trump's attorney. And we're also going to look at some picks that Trump has made for the election, people that he wants to be part of his government if he does win. And we can investigate these individuals and see what's up with them. Because, you know, there seems to be a similar pattern with all of these quote unquote MAGA folks. It seems like they look for the ones that have said the most anti-black stuff as possible, or the ones that have done as much performative extremism as they can find, which is why I don't understand why people throw 100% complete support behind these people. I get it that in today's world, because things are so wild, crazy, upside down, and far left, that it seems like it would make sense to just quote unquote become a conservative or quote unquote jump on the conservative side. But you have to realize that conservatives have run decades and decades of anti-black propaganda, and they don't deserve an olive branch without any type of payment or without any type of recompense or anything. And these people are not willing to do that, which means that they have to get crushed just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
All right, we do have breaking news. A whole lot going on all of a sudden inside the closing arguments in the defamation damages trial against Donald Trump. Trump walked into the courtroom late. He walked out when the plaintiffs were delivering their closing arguments. At one point, the judge had to warn defense lawyers they were close to being thrown in the lockup. Let's get right to CNN's Kara Scannell, who ran out from inside that courtroom to give us an explanation of what was going on. Kara, what have you been seeing?
Yeah, John, an eventful day this morning, to say the least, that had nothing to do with even the closing arguments. So it began, as you say, when Donald Trump's team was already late, which the judge noted when he took the bench. Then Donald Trump did enter the courtroom, and they were arguing still, before the jury even got in there, about a slide that the Trump's team wanted to use in their presentation. And Carol's lawyer said it included things that were not in evidence in the case. The judge said it was out. That's when Trump's attorney, Ali Bahama, stood up to challenge the judge on his ruling. He has made it very clear throughout this trial, when he rules, and that's it. She started to challenge him. He had hit his limit and said, "You are on the verge of spending some time in the lockup. Now sit down." Now, then at this point, we were moving into closing arguments.
So, man, so the judge threatened to put Trump's lawyer in jail for challenging his verdict. Yeah, I gotta agree. And that's one of the reasons why you see so many COONS. If you guys agree with Black Star Racer, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Black Star Racer says being anti-black seems to be the come up. Yeah. It's definitely the grift. Being anti-black is a whole grift, which is wild that there's black people that take part in it. Some of the most egregious anti-black grifters are actual black people, which is just mind-boggling to me. It is mind-boggling to me that actually occurs. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, "I bet that judge voted for Biden." Facts. If y'all think that judge voted for Biden, give me a thumbs up. If y'all think that the judge didn't vote for Biden, give me a thumbs down.
The jury was brought in, and Carol's team started their statements by telling the jury, what this case was about, the statements that Donald Trump had made. And Carol's attorney, Roberta Kaplan, was specifically saying at this moment that Trump didn't respect the jury verdict last year, and that he hasn't even respected it. He didn't even respect it for 24 hours, because that's when he went on the CNN town hall, repeating the statements that the jury had just found to be defamatory. It was at that moment that Trump got up from his seat, just stood up, turned, and walked out of the courtroom abruptly. That moment, the judge interrupted Carol's attorney, saying for the record, for the court reporter, to say that Donald Trump had just got up and left the courtroom. And then Carol's lawyer continued doing her closing arguments. And on the closing arguments, on the merit of this case, she's reminding the jury that Trump is not above the law, that anyone should be held responsible for statements anyone else would. And so Donald Trump should also, they are asking the jury to award Carol more than $12 million in this case, John.
Did Trump ever walk back in, Kara, that you saw?
No, Trump hasn't returned. One of his lawyers, Boris Epshteyn, who works with him on the campaign, did walk back into the courtroom at one point and was...
What was that last name?
Boris Epshteyn, who... No, Trump hasn't returned. One of his lawyers, Boris Epshteyn, who works with him on the campaign...
What y'all think about that? What y'all think about that last name? What y'all think about that last name?
Did walk back into the courtroom at one point and was standing, and the judge told him, calling him out by name, to sit down. So the judge is not taking any more interruptions in this case, and we have not seen Donald Trump appear. We also haven't seen the motorcade leave, so it appears to still be in the courthouse, just not in the courtroom.
So he's somewhere, presumably, inside that courthouse, maybe waiting for when his attorneys present their closing arguments. Any sense of when that will begin?
So Carol's team has said they would go for about an hour. They had a little bit of a late start, so she probably has a bit more to go. But then we do expect Alina Habba, Trump's attorney, to do her closing statement.
Hey, that's crazy, Carla. That's crazy. Hey, if his parents named him Boring, that's wild. Oh, Boris. Okay, Boris. Oh, man. Something about this name reminds me of Ben Shapiro. I don't know what. I can't think of it. You know what I'm saying? But something about this name right here. Not the Boris one, but this one. This one here. Reminds me of Ben Shapiro. You know what I'm saying?
also estimate that will be an hour, and then the judge will instruct the jury. So I think we are going to look to see if he does return when his lawyer is giving the statements. But what's so interesting, John, at the outset of this, the judge said he didn't want anyone, not the parties, not the individuals, no one in the courtroom, to do anything to interrupt these closing arguments.
Well, see how that's gone so far. I mean, obviously, an eventful morning, as you say, Kara. It's terrific having you explain to us what you're seeing here, because it isn't unfolding, I think, as the judge was hoping. Kara Scannell, outside court. We'll let you get back inside. Keep us posted.
I want to bring in former U.S. Attorney Harry Littman to think through this case with us. First of all, the judge literally...
All right, so we just watched this guy right here on NBC, all right? And, you know, he's all right. He's all right, but not worth more time, you know what I'm saying? Because we got other stuff to talk about. I want to try to get through all these streams real quick. Like I said, trying to keep them an hour or low or less, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's just some concentrated information about a certain topic, you know what I'm saying? For ease of enjoyment for you guys, you know what I'm saying? And because there's so much content that I want to make sure that I'm able to at least cover it, even if it's in small increments. So shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here. Got another stream coming up. We're going to be talking about this insanity with Vince McMahon, and shout out to Kid Gravity, because Kid Gravity did a stream about that when it first happened, which was wild. You know what I'm saying? I did some research and found some interesting articles, and we're going to talk about those, because that situation is just another instance of another CEO who had power, who weaponized his power, but then also these weird situations of why these women tend to kind of sit on the situation and then just pull it out after years. I don't understand why none of this stuff happens immediately when the situation first happens, and we'll go into that as well. So shout out to everybody. If you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure that you hit that like button that final time. If you have not, subscribe to M.A.G.A.TRON on Twitter. Take a moment, do that. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, hit the bell icon twice. Share the stream to your social media. Make sure you guys leave comments after the stream. If you watch it on the replay, gang, appreciate you. #replay gang. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,